Alright guys, we're back. Sorry, a little bit of a hiccup there, but we are getting into game. It's going to be ByuN versus Goblin as we get to this first map in a best of 3. I didn't realize we were starting already ready though, so let's finish sending something off. Anarchy. Also don't have game sounds on. But now that's all fixed and that's resolved. So neither of these players are playing with names that are associated with them, so that makes it a little bit confusing to talk about them. However, in the upper right side of the map, it's going to be the European Protoss, EGDisruptor, aka Goblin.
In the bottom left, as
Well, what the fuck?
the Red Terran, he is ByuN.
I thought that mouse scroll bug had been fixed by now, but I just had that happen for the first time in months, so that was odd.
I feel like someone basically, got, Elmer's glue, right? And they slapped it on. And now it's just falling off. Like, they fixed the lobby bug in the beginning, they fixed the mouse wheel bug, and then it's all coming back, and it's becoming worse and worse. Now the Elmer's glue is mixing with all the circuits, and it's just gonna crash soon.
Yeah, just a small explanation, because I've always found this to be really intriguing, the way some of these things work and don't work more explicitly. Was like, okay, let's say you hold down the middle mouse button to make smooth camera pans like this, right? It's nice or whatever. But if you would do this like a little too close to the edge of the screen and you would shake it like this, or like you would just have a jarring movement, it's supposed to recenter your mouse. And as you guys can see, if I click over here on the right side, after a while, the mouse will like reappear in the middle of the screen sometimes. Okay, well, it just did it, but now it's not doing that. I'm trying to show that. But the other part of the other bug was if you would do it over here, it would actually jerk the camera like way this direction. Like you would do this and be like over here all of a sudden, over here all of a sudden. Like it was really silly the way it would work. So they fixed it. And I was so happy as an observer who observes every fucking day in StarCraft. I was so happy at this quality of life improvement. But yeah, so that just happened now and gave me a bit of a hiccup. It's like you go to the doctor and there's a lump, and I'm like, no. No, I've only exercised every day. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. Like, why?
Why me, God? Why? Yeah, no, but it is really funny that so the lobby. This is most seen in the lobby bug, right? Because let's see if your issue deteriorates in the next month. But for the last, let's say, month and a half, okay, because this wasn't really annoying me so much until after Austin. It's been getting like, okay, it happened once with like one person. Too bad they have the bug. Okay, now 2 people have the bug. Okay, now like everyone I fucking invite has the bug.
This is how zombies start, man. Like
it really is.
It's like, no, I'm fine. I'm good.
Because I am a zombie grub and I'm making them all.
It's like, no, I'm good, dude. No, we don't know that you turned infected. All right, like it just, I'm fine.
You're not infected yet.
I'm fine.
Are you immune?
Just wait for symptoms to show, man.
Oh my god. The day that I can't invite you is just gonna be like, blow my brains out right now. Like, it's gonna be so funny.
I can't deal with this. I am just done. Alright, so I do want to point out, this is ByuN. We got to give him more credit than what we did. Kind of goofing at the start of the game. This is one of, in my opinion, some of the best Terran action we've gotten to see in a very long time. I love seeing this guy come out to play. I was so disappointed when he missed the Korean qualifiers, and he was too. Like, I've actually spoken with ByuN personally on a couple of different topics, not necessarily always related to our tournaments. He's a good guy, he's got a level head, and even with like the whole Korea, China, whatever thing, like he just loves playing StarCraft. So I'm really glad to see that he was able to come out to one of our qualifiers. And I gotta say, he's probably a favorite, if not a shoo-in, to take one of the qualifying spots. But if anyone was gonna
loses to anyone, I don't know, man.
Well, so this is where I get a little bit interesting, right? Like maybe he wins versus Goblin if Goblin gets cheesy or something, right? Maybe asterisk. But what I find interesting is Sort of is actually the one who beat Lambo just now, and Sort of has been looking really good, and Sort of also plays that really annoying late game style that Terran players seem to struggle with. So, like if there's one chance to beat him, it's you force ByuN off of his home server, okay, check, and then 2, you take somebody who can play a style that Terran in general are struggling with. Maybe we see him get knocked out before the qualifying match. But even then, let's take it one step further. Let's say he does beat this series. He beats Sort of. In that qualifying series, he's still going to have to fight somebody like Bly or otherwise. So there's a decent chance we see ByuN not have a 100% chance to win, but he's still a favorite by a large margin.
Yeah, what we see here, by the way, was a 1-base Banshee build followed by tanks, so not something you usually see.
Observer, please. There we go.
Yeah, the Observer is here, but there's actually nothing else besides the Overcharge that's going to take care of this, so... Gotta warp in some Stalkers, not ideal as he was going for Adepts, so Banshee will die in regardless.
Kinda,
But ByuN is really playing like almost like an old-fashioned 1-1-1. Like I mean, like back in the day on Ohana. Of course, he got a command center, but only after the fact. But he was going Banshees, tank, including a Raven, getting as many Marines as possible. Like,
so I think this is particularly interesting to watch, specifically because we saw Beastie do similar tactics, except on proxy, opposed to like from his own base, and against Goblins specifically more recently. So, as we can see, Banshees are certainly getting some damage done, but with the Observer and the Stalkers walking around, it's not going to get too out of hand, ideally.
Well,
That Raven
gonna
pops
sure
out
perfectly.
Oh, I was just okay. Sorry, that got awkward. I was gonna say like that Observer started running the second it saw the Raven. It was like, nope, nope.
Well, anyway, yeah. So this game is a kind of a funky one just because of the ByuN open. But as you can see, Goblin's gonna try and do something very similar to what he's been doing in the past 2 games. Unfortunately, ByuN has like a lot of units.
Yeah, solid
So
defense.
the tanks cover the top, and the Marines can go down to the natural almost no problem. And they don't have combat shields, but there's a large number of them. So they can also have point defense drone, as we learned that it works on Adepts.
Yep. By the way, Vader, thank you for the resub. First bit of sub action we're getting today. So 4 months hype. Looks like he's not going to need to burn the point defense drone, though, so he's pretty good in this regard. Tank's even pulled over here. I mean, ByuN's bleeding out a couple of SCVs, but this really isn't enough to be, I'd say, worthwhile damage.
Yeah, I agree. So that's 9 to 10 workers killed. They really even up each other's workers kills, and with only being down by 5, including mules, ByuN should not be doing very poorly at all. Now, Goblin, of course, getting a 3rd base, but he really needs to continue the harassment, or he'll just be like, countered once Sim is done, and, well, he might die when that happens. So, of course, ByuN has to wait for Sim, and even Max.
Interesting chat feedback. People are saying your guys are using an overlay, for example, you could easily replace their names. And I would argue that you could easily use your brain and differentiate between the 2 players as a counterpoint. But the reason we don't do this is not because I'm actually like some spiteful bastard who just doesn't want to show good overlay stuff. It's the fact that this is a best of 3 where these guys are coming and going so quickly. It's just literally not worth the effort unless these are all going to be hour-long games or falling ByuN for the entire day type thing.
As far as I can recall from the days of Title T,
I would
caused more headaches than it really solved.
That's another aspect of it too. I would regularly have that mess up more often after we were done casting the guys with the funny names as well.
So just, you know, just
I think
figure it out.
For me, at least, we've been casting ByuN under the name Speak Now for over a year and a half. So for him, I'm like, okay, whatever. Disruptor, I can kind of get, though. Like, EGDisruptor, it looks like a player that EG's picked up that nobody heard about or something. I understand that. I get that. But anyways, big army moving out of ByuN as he comes down the middle of the map with quite a few tanks. That Raven's pretty much full on energy. It didn't have to burn anything at home. So if he wants to use a lot of auto turrets, that's great. If he wants to use point defense drones, that'll work as well. But there's only a couple of Adepts on the other side of the map right now, and if this warp person warps into anything, there's just more reason for ByuN to push into his opponent's base. Combat Shields is not going to be done for the attack, but +1 is moments from finishing.
Yep. This is that's just a lot of tanks, and these Adepts are really just bulking up here. I mean, they're taking great shots from those tanks. Actually, using auto turrets was anything else is not a bad idea. They do, of course, not last very long.
They have an insane amount of damage, though. In that 7 seconds that they're alive, they pump out some serious hits. One of the tanks goes down, 2 of the tanks goes down, tries to focus with that Immortal, but Goblin's out of juice. No units left to defend, no overcharges to be had. The Mothership Core gets sniped. She gets one last overcharge off, but it's already too much to, like, just, it's done.
It is done. It's game. But as we expected, I mean, ByuN has, it's not like he's ever stopped playing StarCraft 2. You mentioned how he loves StarCraft 2, and he is probably the person I would say I am the most impressed with how much he likes to play StarCraft 2, because he actually won't play for months at a time, or even show himself for months at a time, but apparently he's constantly like a top of Grandmaster, because he likes playing it a lot. So, of course, his recent qualifications for the Korean leagues have been going super well. That kind of sucks. But he's still like a super really good player. I actually don't know. I was really hoping, you know, with that like that China tournament, wasn't it? Where ByuN got like 3rd or 4th. Or was it 2nd?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of the tournament though.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you know, he was like, oh well, we expected it because he's been doing so well in the Lima League. I really thought it was going to be his start to greatness, and then he lost in the qualifiers, the first of this season, with a good engagement with ByuN. And he just went kind of downhill in terms of offline results. So I don't know what it is about him and offline, but
So
It's really
this
good online.
small detail of a goblin that I'm loving to notice is he dances his units every time he's about to lose. It's a silly thing, but I do like it quite a bit.
It's a little, hey, congratulations on winning.
Yeah.
Choo-choo.
Do a little dance. All right. We're going to go to a small break. We'll get this thing's lobby set up, guys. Nothing too long. Stick with us. We'll be back soon. All right, guys. It timed out pretty perfectly. We're just going to hop into the game. This map number 2 coming into play. It is, again, still ByuN on the left side here with the Terran, Goblin on the right side here for the Protoss. And the winner of this will go on to fight against Sort of. On this side of the bracket's not looking too bad. You got Billowy still going through pretty strong. So Protoss on the top side. Guru actually looking to possibly be a very strong contender up there as well. But,
yeah, he's had a pretty good bracket so far. But Xanster, no. Yeah, I think Guru actually be the semifinal.
it's funny because Xanster's a bit of a wild card in my mind, like when it comes to trying to decide how well he'll do type thing.
How perfect then.
For the qualifiers, yeah.
Oh my god.
Just reminding everybody too, though, we will be casting both of the semifinals matches today, as we always do. So both sides of the bracket will eventually be covered, just not always all the way through. Just at the end, very least, always the BaseTradeTV. At any rate, welcome back. Game number 2 currently underway. In the bottom left side, we do have the blue Protoss under the guise of Disruptor. This is actually the European Goblin.
In the top left as the teal Terran, he is actually ByuN.
Okay, so I know that there's trolling going on, and I'm not taking the troll bait, but this does give a good segue to talk about an actual topic regarding Overwatch. So, oh my god, why is Rifka wearing Overwatch hat? Is he full Overwatch? So blah, 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 blah. So the problem is, like, for me, like, even if I was full Overwatch, what's the problem with that? Secondly, we've been very vocal about this for a while, and we are looking to get an Overwatch, guys. We got so much StarCraft on our plate, and we're not looking to reduce the amount of StarCraft content we have by any means, but we do have ideas and plans to move into Overwatch going forward, and we've both been playing the heck out of it. It's been a lot of fun to play. The fact that you can play with more viewers is always really fun too, as we've been playing with like subs and fans, etc. Like, Overwatch is just a really great game overall, and I guess it's just my apologies if you don't think so, but we definitely like it. I definitely like it, and we will be doing Overwatch content eventually. We already did one tournament, and it's pretty darn fun, if we're gonna be honest. Probably the most fun I've had casting in a while.
Yeah. You guys just got to get over it. Been a lot of getting over today.
I'll have to watch you getting over it. No?
Okay. So we have ByuN going for a one-base build again. It technically worked out well enough last game. It did, you know, Banshee did damage, and then of course it led into his main push very well, which I think was more of the goal. So to start off again is not at all surprising. I mean, it'd be a little bit surprising to see another Banshee, like, in particular, but if he likes Banshees, then that's the way to go. I'd be glad to have him back in the meta. That's a little line drop. Darn.
I was starting game 1 and I was kind of thinking maybe, fingers crossed. Got the double gas, everything kind of looks like it's heading that direction, but I do want to point out, Goblin, I feel, didn't put up a huge fight, a huge resistance, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Goblin, but just for ByuN, he probably didn't see a lot that he was going to be too worried about. So to kind of, I hesitate to say dick around because he's not messing around. ByuN always plays to win, but to go for a strategy different like Banshees would not be crazy to me at all.
Yeah, well, ByuN has always been a fun player, not just because he was super, super good, which, you know, it was fun to finally watch someone beat down Zerg, and when Ultras really just had no one knew what to do against him. It was also that he had a lot of fun plays, so it's always nice watching him. So it's going to be 2 Hellions at the front. So wouldn't mind dropping the main. That's, I mean, usually what you can do. We can combine the two if you think there's going to be an opportunity to win a fight. You can try and elevate the Hellions instead, and I mean, there's a ton of variations, but that's probably what's going to go for.
It's a smaller map here on Invader too, so it is kind of hard to maneuver around. Not just for the attacker, but also for the defender. So that's where you can hope the probes stack up. That's where you hope you get that really sweet Hellion hit in some instances. And it looks like while the medevac is heading directly towards the main, the Hellions are going to run to the natural simultaneously. I like that he starts piling up right away. He knows he'll need an overcharge at some point. ByuN kind of wasting time with the Adept in the middle of the map. Probably should just run past it.
Yeah, agreed. And now he's gonna go ahead. As the Adept runs away. So interesting choice with the Widowmine on the ramp, but if you assume they're gonna have defenses in the main,
Ooh, I like
the
that
Widowmine's not gonna
pickup.
get the probe kits, then you can try and get the army, but you can also try and get the probes. Oh, gets a couple of them.
Fraction of a second later, that could have been a very different hit. Scans for the Observer, wanted to pick that off. Very unfortunate they misses that, because now the probe will be, yeah, probes deal with that Widowmine, no problem.
But that's it for the overcharges. Unfortunately, gets 2 more Marines, though. 3 Marines could have really continued to kill a lot of probes.
So Italian, I guess, got a money shot. Didn't get to quite click on it there at the very end, but we have 15 workers killed in total through this attack. And only 3 went down to the Widowmine, and only about 3 or 4 more to this Marine. So that Hellion combo did actually get some kills.
Yeah, I like it. Well, certainly enough damage done to warrant a 1-base build. His command center is just finishing up back at home, and he, oh my god.
that was so risky for 1 extra probe.
Yeah, was that worth it? Was it? I don't know. Losing the medevac is usually the most important part. Like, if you lose it, then suddenly maybe your kills aren't quite worth it. But with 16, pardon me, I guess the Liberator, that wouldn't have been the end of the world, losing the medevac. Just seemed unnecessary. And the Liberator, speaking of, being more of a problem than just killing a couple extra probes, it's
completely deny mining.
Tons of mining.
I mean, look at that income spike, too. The second that Liberator came in, I mean, there's no way to make up that damage, which is what's so unfortunate about it. Like, it's one thing to lose probes, you can rebuild them, but to actually lose minutes of mining, it's equivalent to just being AFK at the start of the game.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know what Goblin is gonna do here. He's gonna wait for that pylon to finish, unfortunately, and then even then the Liberator can move and just join in with the army at one point, or yeah, exactly, just go to like one little mineral patch. Stalkers will have to be in combination with this. They are trying to get Blink, but this doesn't... I don't really think this was Goblin's ideal plan. Obviously, his Adept attack worked out in favor to win the best of 3 he just played. It did okay in the last game to get some damage done, and if he could do it again, I'm sure he thinks he could, maneuver it a little bit better and get more kills with those Adepts. But instead, he's forced to go Blink, and I'm not really sure how well he is with this tactic. He has 6 Stalkers at the front of the base, but with tanks and Marines, this really is not that same type of Stalker attack that's going to make them, sweat. This is not very scary at all.
Well, the tanks can be maneuvered is one thing. I like that... This is interesting, though, because this represents this spot where he doesn't know that ByuN doesn't have stim, which is something you would just assume Terran have at this point. Bleeding out Stalkers on this side of the map, very unfortunate. But still, it's not even started. So, like, in this very strange way, ByuN's actually not in such a great spot. But the fact that there's so much army supply, the fact they denied so much mining for so long, that was almost 3.5 minutes of full denied mining in the main. Like, wow. you can play without stim.
Yeah. I mean, look at the income graph. Like, those spikes, and it's staying that way too. Because at this point, at 7 minutes, a Protoss should actually have a 3rd base. I mean, it's very different than Heart of the Swarm, but it's absolutely true for Legacy of the Void. At 6 minutes, hopefully you're starting it, and like maybe even like halfway done if you're really playing safe and cautious and actually pretty greedy. Unfortunately, he took a lot of damage, and no 3rd base in sight. This army's not big enough to take on ByuN's, and it's probably going to be game as ByuN pushes out. I mean, whatever that is.
To have like 1,500 minerals a minute for 3 minutes over your opponent type thing. Like, that's like 3 extra bases. Just very unfortunate for poor Goblin, who is now fighting the small amount of Blink Stalkers. Granted, his micro's been pretty nice with him, and he hasn't lost them. Trying to focus down that medevac. It's kind of almost bait. I feel like ByuN just dangling in front of the army like that. Like, please, come shoot this high priority target. Wouldn't you just love to kill it?
Yeah. Goblin just does not have enough. He doesn't have a 3rd base, and doesn't have an army because of it. It's small, and it's not very good either. Like, these are where Adepts are actually useful to get into the tanks and make them like splash each other and hit other units. And I mean, doesn't even have any immortals to actually chunk through them either. So a back attack could be kind of cool, but as long as ByuN sees it. Yeah, okay, so he's not taking care of it. But.
Yeah, point defense run went down as well. So even soaking up some of the overcharge. There was an Adept over here, got kind of annoying, but I mean, if we're going to enter base trade territory, it's not going to cut it. Again, Stalkers just getting their shots eaten by that point defense drone. Nexus about to go down. Thank you to Louie 2K for the 29 months! Hot damn, dude. We're hitting close to 3 years soon. Actually, how much is 3 years? I didn't do the math. Because 24 is 2. So 36?
Sorry, yeah, 36.
Man, we both just did math on stream.
I can't do math either, apparently.
Well, you're American, am I right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But either way, that's getting closer and closer. But GG, good luck. ByuN will take this series 2-0 and move on to the brackets to fight against Sort of, who will be casting next. Again, the winner of the other part of this bracket's a little bit behind. So Suppy still doesn't have an opponent, Bly still doesn't have an opponent, etc., etc. But they're the ones looking to move on the other side of this bracket. Top side, though, is getting pretty close to this qualifying match. And actually, I just want to read out some predictions. Harstem's dad, I guess, is into StarCraft-ish, and his dad made predictions. He messaged me earlier today. Guru, Billowy, and Blind Sort of for the semifinals. But I think that's only because his dad probably didn't know who ByuN was on the brackets. Speak Now just looks like a nobody name. But taking the sort of aspect out of that, that looks pretty bang on for what I would expect. Guru, Billowy in the top half, Bly versus, if not ByuN, then definitely Sort of, for sure.
I actually believe in Strange versus Billowy, to be honest. Mostly, not because I'm like, Strange is like the best, okay? Like, he almost went against Paul, right, guys? It's just that Billowy doesn't inspire much confidence, the same way that Tang doesn't, and Strange just beat Tang, so.
I guess, like, Billowy he's in a bit of a funny spot, because sometimes he actually does look quite good, and then most times he also flips and flops, so I'm kind of with you on that one. We'll see how it goes. We're going to go to break, though. Word from our sponsors before we do. Again, TING, U.S. mobile phone service, guys. We're going to teach you about the rates, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.